motion to stay composed, man. Never stop, there ain't no time to fall. Try to live, get it up, you got one life to pop. Thinking big, never small, cause you gotta want it all. When you finally get that call, you get ready, take it on. Need a hand out, I already stand out. Starting to advance now, ready to expand now. You don't have a chance now, cause we're in demand now. Make it by the grand now, feeling in command now. They're looking right at me to see if I succeed, to see if I believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now. Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now, I made mistakes but now I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home. On my own, in the zone, that's the only way I know. Feeling low, about to blow back up. Here I won't ever let the doubt creep in. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold. Break down, always feel like I could break now, but I never let it take me to that place now. I won't ever let my thoughts get away now. I got better things to do, picking fate now. I just wanna be the best, call me great now. I don't know if I'm okay or insane now. I remember better days on the playground, hoping I can find my way to even when I'm feeling down, I fight. Even when I don't know what is right, I'ma pick a side and I'ma take pride. I will decide my fate and I will never let them tell me who I am. If you try to shape me, I'll be damned. Planet on the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold. Yeah, let's go. I'm unstoppable, do the impossible. I'm irresponsible, yet I'm phenomenal. I got an arsenal, I'm dropping bombs, you know. No, I'm not stopping, no. Conquer the obstacle. To the top, here I go, think I'm chosen to be the king of rock, think the people have spoken. I can hear the tick-tock of the clock, I'm in motion. So now I'm gonna pop, causing all this commotion. Yeah, sometimes I think that I'm unstoppable. Yeah, ready to go, man, lock and load. That's right, I swear to God that I could drop it, bro. Yeah, I got a shot and I ain't stopping, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to episode 4 here of season 3 of the NEXXTCAR podcast. And like always, we're joined with Matt Tucker. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on, man? I haven't seen you in a while.
I know, it's been a little while, and our newest addition to the podcast family, he's going to be on here full time now, Andrew Bolander. You guys know him as Cat. What's going on, brother?
It's the same old. About you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Our third, our other co-star, Peyton Tullock, I'm sure he'll do exactly what he did last week and join right after we talk about the Chastain drama of this week on at Darlington. But guys, let's jump right into it. Throwback weekend for the Xfinity and Cup Series here at Darlington. It was some great racing, back-to-back weeks where we had some great finishes. Larson found himself in the midst of it all in the Xfinity race. Matt, walk us through it.
Yeah, I didn't really watch much of the Xfinity race with me being at work or the truck race either on Friday night, but I watched the end of that race, the highlights of it, and can honestly say that we've seen a trend with the Xfinity series at Darlington. I mean, you had the Chastain and Hamlin finish with Brandon Jones a couple of years ago, and then last year with Creed, Larson, and Gregson, and then this year time around again it was Larson versus John Hunter Nemechek, and then another crazy finish where Larson got beside him, ended up getting by him, hitting the wall, and then Nemechek was right there and then got spun out. So crazy finish. Congrats to Larson though, getting another win for first start for Colleague, I believe, first win. So good for Colleague getting another win. They're trophy hunting down in the Xfinity Series, and they got another one last weekend.
Absolutely, yeah. You mentioned it, Larson getting past John Hunter, and then obviously that led to John Hunter getting into his left side after Larson got up into the wall. But yeah, it was just good, hard racing that came down to the wire there. Another fantastic Darlington finish, honestly. That is a place that over the years has had some really great finishes, and just add that one up to the books as well. Andrew, what you got for it?
Well, first, the throwback race has always been my favorite weekend in NASCAR, because you see all the old cars and what they choose to do throwbacks, and all 3 races was pretty good. The finish of the truck race was pretty bad on how they ended it, but overall the all racing was good, and honestly no fault to either Larson or Nemechek. It's just good old Darlington racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get to the big story of this week here. NASCAR 75. Obviously, they led up the last couple of weeks with their latest 51 to 75 greatest drivers. Well, they got all those guys together and a couple of the others from the previous 50 years. They had a nice ceremony for them. Absolutely fantastic to see. And that gentleman, start your engines. I'll tell you what, to have as many people as they did in that group to do that, that was probably the most in sync multi-driver start your engine group that we have seen in a while. And that was absolutely awesome to see NASCAR honor those guys.
Yeah, I think it was well-organized event all around. I mean, because you had the build-up of getting a different driver out of the 25 being added each week from the last probably month and a half. So So yeah, I mean, seeing all the guys that got added to the list, previous drivers that were on the top 50 before, and then them honoring them like for this weekend is just kind of the cool thing that NASCAR's done with this like year 75 season of NASCAR, and then having there's only really one place you can have it, probably one of the most historic tracks in NASCAR, um, at Darlington, having the ceremony there. So good weekend around. You didn't really see a lot of some of the guys that were on that list. I mean, Stewart. I don't know why Stewart and Gordon weren't there. I mean, those in that one photo, what they took, but it was good seeing like guys like that. Sterling Marlin was up there, the old Bonnie brothers, and older guys like Allison and Petty too.
Mhm.
So it was a good event, and interesting to see in the next 25 years who will be added to that for the 100th season. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Absolutely. You mentioned, I think Tony, if I'm not mistaken, was at an NHRA event this weekend. I could be
Okay, that
wrong,
makes
but I
sense.
think he was there.
That makes sense then, because I knew Gordon was there. Gordon was in the celebration with Byron, so
Yeah.
I was like, why wasn't he in the photo? So
Yeah, he
unless
was up on
with
stage for
kids.
pre-race, but he just wasn't in that photo.
Yeah, that's what I was confused. But
Probably
oh well.
wasn't
What's up, Kat?
I say he probably just wasn't at the track yet.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah,
came in
yeah.
putting on.
So,
Yeah, because I think, when did they post that? Thursday or Friday?
it
was
I think
early.
It was Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like
I
during
didn't
one
see
of their
part of the
practice
celebration.
sessions, I
Mhm.
think. So
Absolutely. Well, they hit on it leading into this race. They had a nice video tribute to Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch, and they're absolutely fantastic. Probably, in my opinion, the greatest finish in NASCAR history, and probably always will be. So, Kat, start us off with this. What is your favorite Darlington moment that you can remember?
Well, I'm biased or unbiased.
You know what? Do both.
Bias is Taylor's last win.
Oh, your audio
There
cut
we
out
go.
real bad.
yeah, your audio cut out.
The bias one's Terry's last win,
Mm.
but Craven and Kurt one was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Matt, what you got?
I did. This is kind of like out there, but the one that really sticks out to my head is when Regan Smith won at that 2011 Southern 500.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why I say that is because when Mike Joyce said Smith gets the flag and this time he gets to keep it, in reference to 07 when he would have won the Talladega race.
Yep.
I always think that was just like a stone cold call in the moment for him to like say that. So, and then Smith and Victory Lane saying like, look at all the names like on the trophy, like he's not supposed to win this. Legends win this. So yeah, I think that's probably like one of my top moments when I think of Darlington is Smith winning it, and that. So I think that was Furniture Row's first win
It
too
was,
as an
yep.
organization. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happened with that win.
Absolutely. I'm kind of like Kat. I've got a biased one and an unbiased one. Obviously, the unbiased is the Ricky Craven, Kurt Busch finish. That'll always go down. And, Dave Blaney, everyone forgets who finished third. Well, Dave Blaney got his best career finish up to that point in Darlington in the 77. But my biased pick of this is definitely Eric Jones getting that 200th win for that 43 car last year. Just that organization in the last years have not been up to Petty par, and then for him to come out there and get that historic win for a historic number at a very historic track for NASCAR is absolutely huge. So kind of like Kat, I got an unbiased and biased. And speaking of 100th win or a 200th win, well, we saw the 24 car go to victory lane for the 100th time this week. So again, another historic number at a very historic track getting back to victory lane. Matt, what you got on this topic?
I mean, Gordon's iconic. I mean, literally probably one of the Mount Rushmore drivers of all time. So you got to be with that. So, but yeah, I think having Byron leading the 24 car, he's got more wins than Chase Elliott in the 24. So that's one thing. One good thing that Byron can say. So, but yeah, seeing that iconic number getting victory lane, especially with the history behind it, is pretty special, and especially at Darlington too. So. Congrats to Willie B, and I think we can go ahead and say that Byron might be one of the contenders, for one of the top contenders right now for this championship, almost halfway through the season. So So it's getting down to it, and that 24 camps find their groove at the right time.
Absolutely, and he got this win here in a huge throwback to Gordon. That car is absolutely beautiful. Andrew, what you got?
Well, I was hoping, since he ran that throwback, the same result would happen that happened to Gordon, where he would run out of gas or something happened with 2 to go and lose a win.
You're only
But,
saying that because Harvick was second. That's the only reason.
Exactly. That's why. So, but of all the 400 cars, besides Larson getting taken out, I was glad to see Byron win.
Mm-hmm.
I could care less about Gordon and his cars, but I like old Willie B.
Absolutely. You know, Harvick had to fight for that second place finish. Let's talk about that real quick. I mean, he was involved in that one accident. Blaney rear-ended him. He ran into the guy in front of him. I think that was Truex's wreck when he took everybody out there. But he was involved in that accident. He had a pretty damaged car, and he had to fight for that second place. So he truly had to earn that one, Cat.
Definitely. But with him being involved in that wreck, he ran in back of Chase in that wreck. So after Blaney hit him, he ran back to Chase, so at least it got Chase involved in it too.
All right, let's move on to the tradition of Darlington, and absolutely a tradition that I love, and that is how they bring in their guest stars for stages 1, 2, and 3. Stage 1, we saw the Petties, Richard and Kyle. Stage 2, we saw the return of Carl Edwards to NASCAR. He said some very interesting things. And then stage 3, we saw Bill Elliott make his return to the booth. Absolutely love this tradition of at Darlington. Everyone, when you think of Darlington, you think of Throwback Weekend. Well, they have brought another aspect into this with bringing in the co-guest stars, and I absolutely love this. Matt, what do you think about them bringing in these legends of NASCAR? I mean, if you want to consider Kyle Petty a legend of NASCAR, and I'm only saying that because I know my mom's watching and she loves Kyle Petty.
Kyle Petty just lives on his dad's laurels.
So Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, but Dale Jr. at least is top whatever and wins whatever. So I don't know. I honestly didn't even watch the broadcast. So I was out doing some stuff it was Mother's Day, and doing some stuff with the family. But I listened to it on the radio, so they didn't really do much on that broadcast on like the legend wise for the 75th. But I mean, ever since they started doing the throwback race, back when NBC had it on it's just Southern 500 weekend, so they would have all those different legends come in, and I think it's a good way to top the weekend, because you don't want like the whole booth to like go under. One thing I like them to do is bring back some legends of broadcasting though too. So like do some cross stuff with maybe like radio and TV, and kind of mix it up a little bit. Like I like what they're doing with the same stuff, but like change it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be like the same guys that we've seen before, because like Petty's been in there numerous times, Bill Elliott back-to-back years, and so you have other things too. So I'd like to see him do something like that, but having Carl Edwards though back in the booth, I didn't see or hear any of it, but the first time we've heard Carl Edwards' name in a NASCAR sentence at a NASCAR event since he had his accident with Logano at Homestead. So I think that was I gotta go back and listen to some of that because I loved Edwards when he was in that 99, then over the 19 too. So I think that's pretty cool that they got him back for that race. So, but yeah, I think the booth of having legends and different other drivers in it is a iconic way to honor them during the throwback weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned it. Carl Edwards making his return, and he made some comments that were pretty interesting. He did not exactly deny a return to NASCAR in some sort of way. They brought it up in the booth. Mike Joy brought it up, and all he did was he said he absolutely misses being at the racetrack. He didn't lead. He didn't lead that he was gonna exactly. He didn't lead that he was gonna be driving. Hey, now's not the time to grab your squeaky toy. you throw that through the wall, we're gonna have problems like you did your bone 2 weeks ago. But yeah, he didn't deny the fact that there's not going to be a return possibly in the future. He didn't, beat around the bush about saying that he was coming back, but he left that door open, which was absolutely fantastic because a lot of people loved Carl. Kat, I know last week you said you weren't a big fan, and how can you not be a big fan of Carl? What made you not a fan of Edwards?
The Keselowski Edwards deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge rivalry.
Pretty much the gateway accident is what turned me off of him.
The gate. Oh, on the front stretch
When he spun
when
it
he
on the
got
last
hit
lap.
like 3 times. That was a big one. Is that when Bob came out and said he isn't going to kill my kid?
Yeah.
He was going to get his fire suit back on.
Yeah. Yeah, Bob was ready to kill Carl that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was probably the most destructive rivalry in NASCAR history. Hands down. It has to be, right? I mean,
I would say so.
Every week Chastain's getting pretty close.
Well, here's the thing, though, because 2 out of 3 ended up in the fence.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, literally, Keselowski about got murdered on the front stretch. So, I mean, I guess you could say that. The 3 incidents that they had.
I feel like they had a lot more than that, though.
I think it's just 3. I mean,
They had, obviously, Atlanta with Brad flipping over. Talladega, obviously. Oh, look who decided to join. Right in time for our next, the meet and greet of the podcast.
Hey, since Peyton joined, get his Darlington, favorite moment. That way he can kick it off.
My favorite all-time Darlington moment?
Yeah.
That probably put me on the spot a little bit.
Well, if you would have joined sooner, then you would have said
time.
it. Yeah.
That's fair. I'm so busy in real life. I'm almost as busy as Ross Chastain is apologizing to everyone. But for my Darlington,
I'll give you respect for that. I will give you respect for that.
My Darlington all-time favorite moment. It's gonna be, probably the easy choice. It's got to be Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven's finish. That one's just, I know it's, oh wow, you picked the easy one. But that one's just so iconic. It's such an awesome finish. It's the booth did amazing calling it, and I mean, hell, that's racing right there. So that's got to be mine.
How dare you take the easy way out and pick that as your favorite moment?
I picked Reed.
As 2 out of 3 of us picked
Reed
that.
and Smith. Kat picked what was the one that you picked?
Kat picked
Terry's
Labonte and
Bonnie's win. Yeah, you go with that one. The
Regan
greatest
Smith-
finish in NASCAR history.
If I got to think about it a bit more, Regan Smith been what I thought about because that was such an underdog story.
Mhm.
You know me, I love my underdogs, so that's a good one.
Got her copy and tuck.
Yeah. Don't copy me like BCR the last 2 incidents. You might get suspended in some way or another. So.
But I don't even remember what we were talking about now. What topic were we on?
We were talking about the
Edwards Keselowski rivalry.
Keselowski.
Yeah, that was definitely the most destructive rivalry in NASCAR history. But I feel like there's a lot more events than just those 3 that took part. I feel like we're missing some here, but yeah, I don't know. I just, even with that, how can you not like Carl Edwards? I don't know.
I never was a huge Carl Edwards fan growing up, but after I got older and Carl had already retired, like a lot of drivers, I started respecting him more. And that's like the only thing back in his NASCAR day I can remember that was kind of like, I don't know, Carl. That was kind of a rough situation. But other than that, I had no problem with Carl Edwards' career. He was usually a pretty nice and clean dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Did we miss anything else with Peyton that we could get his thing?
Nope, we're just getting right into the finish.
You missed about the legends being in the booth.
Oh yeah, the legends.
Oh yeah. What are your opinion on how they keep bringing back the legend? Making that the new tradition for Darlington. Well, bringing back the legendary people into the booth. You had the 2 Petties. You had Carl and Bill.
And you had in the truck series, you had Mario Andretti.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I didn't watch the truck. That's pretty cool though.
Yes.
It's very important, and NASCAR is a sport I don't think we'll have any issue with that. But I think it's important in all sports that you got to remember your history. You got to remember where you came from, and to have those guys still show up and for the fans to be able to see him, hear from him, and everything, it just I don't know. I think it's an awesome thing because it gives them their moment to like, hey, I'm still here. Here's what I think about what's going on. Blah blah blah. I like it personally. Other sports, I mean, we don't see a whole lot of that. I mean, I know NFL started to get commentators, used to be players now a little bit, but you don't really see guys retire and then kind of get to have that opportunity. So I think it's a great thing. I like what Fox is doing with it.
Absolutely. All right. We're not going to quite get to Chastain versus Larson yet, round 3.
Dang.
Let's talk about the big ones that took part before that. You had, I know, Peyton, this is going to be probably your big argument with the Chastain thing because I know David brought it up during the race, the difference between what Truex's move was versus Chastain. But, Chastain, good God. You think of Rex and automatically your brain goes to Chastain. Truex caused the big one. And then Jones found himself in the midst of one with losing his right rear wheel. So Darlington not only lately has been providing some fantastic finishes, but it's also providing some big wrecks as well.
Yeah, just Darlington, it's like we talk about it when we race there so often. Like it's just such a small track. There's barely enough room for 2 lanes, and there's no way you can really do 3. If you do 3, it's usually a wreck. So I mean, we saw it. It's so tight, and it got the best of everybody. I know Eric Jones's wreck. I mean, that's just loose wheel. It's not really a byproduct of it, but I think I think Truex kind of did the same thing Ross did. I think there's a little bit different context, obviously, but you're running hard. You have to dive it in there. You're trying to get everything you can, and you just overstep that line. It's over. So that's just kind of Darlington for you with that one.
Kat, what you got?
Well, but those two, Saturday had a big wreck too, with the RTR guys going at it, and with Truex thing, I just don't think he just cared that he was out there. He just moseyed on up. But like Chastain and them, he went. It looked like he was like a foot, 2 feet underneath the white line, so he was going to slide up either way and take him out. So I think they do look alike, but there is still a lot of difference between them. Just like the Xfinity race, the Creed put a big dive bomb and missed completely, and Hill just eased into Nemechek and spun out and caused a wreck.
Matt?
I mean, yeah, the whole Truex. We're talking about the Truex Logano incident, right? When he moved up in Logano and caused that big accident.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the one takeaway that I guess we haven't hit on: why were some of those drivers allowed their positions back when literally they were caught up in the accident? I know it screwed Justin Haley over because he would have been
here
like
we go.
6. I'm just saying. We don't have a lot of limelight in this as the member of the Justin Haley fan club, so I gotta take everything I can get. But this is the second time this has happened to him because it happened to Atlanta last year when Chastain got with Hamlin, and then some of those guys got caught up in the accident. He drove on by. Same thing happened this week where he drives on the bottom, passes all those guys up top there in the accident. Like Harvick, sorry, Kat, but Harvick got murdered in that accident and gets to keep his position. Literally, and the same way with Chase Elliott too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't understand that at all. But that, I mean, the racing that was going on at the later part of the race was probably some of the best racing that we've had, and I can't tell you how long. Like other than the Kansas race last year, this car at 1.5 mile tracks or style mile and a half is probably the best it's ever been, probably since the early 2000s, mid 2000s. So that's one thing that we talk about, but that's a different subject. But yeah, the Truex incident, it literally just changed the race and then changed the outcome. But I'll say this though, if Bell doesn't pit, Chastain doesn't have that opportunity to wall Larson on that next lap. But then yeah, he probably would have took a 3 wide and walled them both.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
100%.
Yeah. I don't know, Peyton. What do you think about that?
I mean, with the Bell thing, you gotta remember with Bell pitting, it put Ross on the outside, so that made Larson raced Ross hard, and then caused all that. You're right though. If Bell doesn't have to pit, I'd imagine it goes a little different. I'd imagine Ross probably gets by Bell, and he has to try to run down Larson, which would have been really hard to pass him in that few laps. But yeah, I don't know that whole incident. If that's is that what we're kind of going into right now? Is
Yeah.
the Ross?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
100%. Of
Um,
course.
Okay,
It's your time to shine, bud.
okay. Well, before I get into it, let me just make this very clear.
Hold on. Is court in session with defense attorney Peyton Tulloch?
No. I just gonna make
Order.
it very clear. The move that Ross made at the end of the race that ultimately ended his race, he's an absolute idiot for it. I mean, he is a Ross fan. I'll fully admit that. That was not smart at all. Like you got to have better racing awareness as that. I mean, he's had an amazing day so far. Won a stage, had great stage points all day. Worst case scenario, Larson clears them. They battle for the win. At very worst, Ross gets second. Instead, he was ticked off about how Larson raced him a previous restart, which he raced him hard. I don't know if you guys got to watch the clip from NASCAR. They kind of put the in-car views. Larson leaned on him really hard entering that, like the restart before when Larson was in the inside. He got into him 3 times entering the corner, and then everybody's focused on the wreck. He got him again in the corner and put him in the wall. Everybody's gonna be frustrated on that. However, Ross has kind of got to expect that at this point. So for him to get really ticked off about it and then just drive over his head and take himself out, I know it took Larson out of a chance to win, but it fully took Ross out. DNF is stupid. It's absolutely stupid. I don't know. It's frustrating because that's 2 Darlington races in a row that Ross has probably been the quickest guy overall, and he's kind of took himself out doing something stupid. So I don't know. I mean, it's obviously not a good look when Justin Marks today or yesterday, I forget what day it was, had to come out and say that they've had a lot of big conversations since the race. I don't know. We talk about Ross every week, so it's kind of getting old. But yet again, he's got to clean it up. The dude has talent. The dude has speed. He's running up front almost every dang week, no matter where we go. And he continues to find ways to lose races. The dude hasn't won in over a year yet. He's the points leader. That tells you how many times he's choked races and threw crap away. So
It shows what he could do if he actually
Mhm.
just like
yeah,
uses his head a little bit.
if I get it. There's times like Denny talked about in the podcast, like Ross is really talented and everything, but if he would just learn how to dial it back, there's times to go aggressive, and he was getting good at it. Like I said, he was before this last month. Ross had been better. No one can argue he wasn't doing better than he was last year. He hadn't been as bad. And then this just last month, he just went back to being stupid again. So I don't know. He just has to learn how to channel it. There's guys out there. You don't have to go 100% all the time. You got to know when just kind of relax, race your race, and then go for it. And Ross, I know he's new to good rides, but he just hasn't learned how to do that yet, and it continues to bite him.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of like what Rick Hendrick, that is, said on his post race. He said, no one can deny the fact that Ross is talented. I'm not denying that. But it's like you said, and like Hendrick said, he just needs to figure out there's times to be aggressive, and then there's times to not be aggressive. Dover, stage 1, 30 laps in, not the time to take out a guy at the end of the field. Not the time to do it. You still had 200 some laps to get back up there. Not the time to do it. And then obviously, yeah, fighting for the win, you're going to be more aggressive. But I want to go back to what you mentioned, and that was with the, you mentioned Larson was leaning on him pretty hard there on that restart. Well, obviously he was, because if I'm not mistaken, the restart prior, everyone went with Chastain jumped the restart. If I'm not mistaken, that was the restart prior to that, correct? Or was it that restart?
It was that restart.
Okay, so he in his mindset, he's thinking 2 things. Probably Larson is thinking 2 things. Chastain just jumped this restart, and at this point, Larson's down 2-0 against Chastain, and incidents that Chastain caused, going back to Talladega and Dover. Taking Larson out in both those. So at that point, Larson obviously is pretty upset. He's down 2-0 against this guy. This guy, in his view, just jumped the restart, just like everyone thought at the time. So a lot of things went into him racing Chastain harder than he probably would have had Bell not pitted, Bell would have been on his outside, you know. So several different things went into this.
I will say, you say 2-0. I do agree that's probably the score that was going into that. However, I would disagree. I don't think Dega would be the one I'd ride on it. I would argue that earlier in the race when Ross was battling him, Ross did not as bad as what Larson ended up doing that restart to Ross, but he ran him hard, and it made Larson had a choice, either race hard back or check up. He checked up and lost spots early in the race. So I'm sure Larson remembered that. And I don't blame. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Like these cars, it's hard to pass, especially at Darlington. So if Ross clears Larson that restart and there's not a wreck, he wins the race. Or let's just be honest, he wins. So Larson's only chance to win that race if he races Ross hard. And as a Ross fan, I can't hate that because that's what Ross would have done if he was Larson. He would have raced Larson hard if he was in the opposite seat. So, yeah.
Andrew, what you got on this?
I'm glad Peyton brought that up. Early in the race, Ross racing hard, and Larson had the choice either lift or hit the wall, and he chose to lift. So he was definitely mad about that.
I don't remember that.
It was, I think it was just start at the third stage or something.
It's early in the third stage.
Because Byron got by Larson, and I think Kyle Busch did too. And I knew at that point Ross wasn't going to win because Busch was already mad at him because Chastain brake checked him like 3 times under caution.
Yep.
And then Larson, well, scores 3-0 at that point. And it's not in Kyle's favor, so he was definitely making sure Ross wasn't going to win.
That's the thing. Like, I think Larson in that moment thought, all right, like if this comes this time around when he's around me at the end of the finish, he's not giving him any respect back. And the restart with, I think it was the Truex accident where he pinched him into the wall, both got damage, and then literally when Chastain's pinching him in the wall, Larson holds his ground. I mean, we've seen it with Larson numerous times this year where he's held his ground in situations with like the Ryan Brees incident, and then who else did Larson get into earlier this year? He got into somebody else. I totally forget though. But yeah, he got the Bubba accident last year. That's probably one thing of when him and Bubba got into it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Larson's not the guy that's going to back down. So then you got 2 guys that are going for a win. Chastain hasn't won in a long time. Larson's had some poor finishes in the last few weeks. You're going for a win at Darlington, one of the most iconic tracks on the NASCAR circuit. Throwback weekend, like throwing all those like factors, like you're gonna get some instance. So, and especially with Chastain and Larson, 2 names that have been at the top of their game like for the last 2 years probably. So I think this might be the new rivalry. This is going to be Chastain Larson. I mean, throw out Denny Hamlin. Unless Hamlin's got his own battles with everybody else. So he's got his battle with fans and NASCAR and his podcast, and he's not worried about Ross Chastain right now. So unless Chastain gets back into him. But
I think it's funny how much Denny started like Ross. I don't know how much y'all watch his podcast, but he's like, man, he's actually a pretty good guy. Like it seems like they've kind of buried the hatchet. He just kind of laughs at everything Ross is in nowadays.
Of course he likes the guy. He's taking the battle to Larson, not him anymore.
Yeah. Well, also he's not wrecking him.
Yeah,
so, like,
that's what I'm saying. He's taking the battle to Larson now.
Yeah.
So of course he likes him.
Yeah. Chastain had to pick on somebody else that was racing him.
I will say, I saw somebody like post about it. Like, to be fair, like Larson is an aggressive driver in and of himself. He's had his little moments throughout the years. Like, I got a list here that I saw.
Of course you do.
Hey, they're just talking about. I just want to mention a few. Like the Talladega thing. Ross won the race. He took out Eric Jones. Like he was not.
This is what took him so long. He had to make a list.
He got. The Bubba fight, people forget, he put Bubba straight in the dang wall. That's why Bubba overreacted, obviously, and, took them both out. But he got Priest earlier this year at Dirt Bristol. He got Chase Elliott at Watkins Glen, just full out, drove him off the track, and then ran away with it. Larson
that's okay. If you get Chase.
Yeah, that's fine. No one cares about the Chase Elliott incident.
That's fair. That's true. But
except for Bill.
Is it's not a great person for Ross to run up against because Larson himself is an aggressive driver as well that doesn't back down, especially when the race is on the line. So I think Tuck's right. I think these guys, both of them are extremely talented. Obviously, they're both in really great rides. This ain't the last time we're gonna see Ross and Larson, race each other and this be a story. The story is now shifted from Denny to Larson, just like Tuck said.
And here's another one for Larson's stuff. I'm surprised Tuck didn't say it. He wrecked Haley in the Flash last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's another one.
What
He
the
just
heck?
flat out took him
I
out.
thought
Like,
about that.
if that was Ross, we'd see it on the scoreboard. I don't know. I'm surprised Larson didn't get as much flack. He got flack for it, but nobody really mentions it nowadays. I guess because Justin Haley, and there's like one Justin Haley fan over here.
Hey, he made me money this weekend. He got a top 10.
I told you he was gonna get a top 10.
I
told
clipped it.
y'all
Go look
he
at
had it.
Discord. Go look at Discord.
Yeah, there we go.
And both my picks were involved in wrecks.
Yeah, mine had
Sorry
a
about your
Twice.
luck, Ronnie.
Twice. Truex
See
wrecked
what,
himself
see what
twice.
happens. See what happens when you don't pick Blaney or Corey LaJoy. Bad things happen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I just need to go back to picking old Corey, I guess, huh? Well, I guess that'll lead us into this weekend. For the first time in 27 years, a NASCAR sanctioned race is returning to probably the most classic track in NASCAR history. North Wilkesboro finally getting some NASCAR action this weekend with the Truck Series and then the All-Star race. And something cool that I'm seeing a couple of guys are doing is not only are they doing the throwbacks for Darlington, a couple of guys are doing some throwback schemes for the All-Star race. Michael McDowell just released his, and he's throwing it back to the old Mark Martin Folgers car. Absolutely beautiful. And to see a classic track like North Wilkesboro, I know it's alive on iRacing, but to finally see NASCAR back at it is fantastic. Kat, start us off with this one.
I'm excited to see him back. I watched old videos on YouTube and stuff about North Wilkesboro, and I'm glad that they brought it back. I'm looking forward to watching the All-Star race and the truck race, and seeing who Ross takes out this week, and just see all the history about it. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, just seeing them like the whole week. It's not just the weekend; it's the whole week that they've done because they're doing like all the late model stuff, and seeing all the guys, like all the NASCAR guys, they're gonna be there the whole week. They're like, I know Junior's gonna be running the late model. I think isn't Kevin Harvick gonna be running some of the cars stuff? So
The Cars Tour.
think
Yeah.
Gregson was running something tonight. I think so.
Yeah, Chase is running something tonight. Ty Gibbs is running something one night.
Yeah, so you got this is like a week long like celebratory event. So it's pretty cool to see. I couldn't tell you like an arena or a like stadium that was like left for dead and then literally gets brought back. Like this is like the only like situation where I can see that like unfolding is literally North Wilkesboro was literally weeds, grass, like termites chewing in the woods, like everything. Like this place was like gone, and then I think it was like during the COVID is when Junior decided to get iRacing to go out there and scan it, like so they had to like go out and like clean it up just so they'd be able just to scan the like surface of it. So, and then that's literally what started this whole process. So, if to give someone credit, it'd have to be Dale Jr. and iRacing. So, but I guess one thing I'm a little bit worried about though for the weekend, though, I think we talked about this before, but today that like they had some holes and some patches coming up in the surface because let's not forget this surface is like 30 years old. It's probably the oldest surface in racing that hasn't been repaved, and they were going to repave it before Junior told them not to after they did that Cars Tour race. So I'm a little bit worried about that with all the racing they have going on this week and how it's going to hold up through Sunday. So I don't want it to like ruin the like the event or just them coming back to it because I put a damper on it. Like then they're like, yeah, they're gonna have to repave it. So, but but just seeing them back there, I think a lot of guys are like soaking it all in. Like with Harvick going back to his 29 scheme, is that he won at Atlanta. So I think that's pretty cool that Childress allowed them to do that with Stuart Haas, and just seeing like all the stuff that's going on. It's gonna be a good race, and I like how they're doing the format too. It's not the BS crap with like all like the points and like the finishing points and then pit stops, yada yada yada. It's just straight up 200 laps. So I think that's gonna be cool. And then bring back the new pit stop or the pit stop challenge, where I think they're gonna have I forget how that's gonna be put into effect, but they're gonna do something to do with the All Star race with that too. So it's gonna be a must watch. So you have to tune into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up one key part in your statement there. The fact that that track was left to die, essentially. You know, in Junior, in the NASCAR promotion commercial this weekend, Junior mentioned that in that. The owner said, just leave it be. Let it fall apart. Everything was left there, the stands, the tower, everything. And then you mentioned it at the start of COVID, Junior, I know you want to do that for a little while because in his what's that series he has on Peacock where Lost Speedways. Lost Speedways. He at the beginning of when he started that back before COVID, he mentioned about how he wanted to get North Wilkesboro back up and running. And then COVID hit and that was his time to get in there and do it. And yeah, you mentioned it. If it wasn't for Junior and iRacing, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now with North Wilkesboro back on NASCAR's map.
And
we'd
be back at Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
Same crap. Yeah,
exactly. So
same other weekend.
I mean,
Ryan Blaney could win.
Like you said, all right. The only reason Chastain can win is by wrecking his damn competition. So
only way Blaney can win is if NASCAR helps him by getting his window net.
All right, we can all agree NASCAR screwed Ryan. They knew if they'd have pulled him down pit road, then the NASCAR community would have been pissed. But because everyone and their mother, even Helen Keller, looked at Ray Charles and said that was not a caution when Stenhouse got loose out of 2. So we all know that NASCAR could not do that. But I digress. If it wasn't for iRacing and Junior, we wouldn't be having this conversation about North Wilkesboro back on the NASCAR map. And going to what you just mentioned, Matt, about the track surface, you know, it's going to be interesting to see just what that tire fall off is throughout the course of this race. I mean, you mentioned it's 30 some years old, maybe possibly even older than that. I don't know when the last time it was paved.
I can't tell you. Heard today.
And they posted a picture on their Instagram account, and it's a very rough, porous surface. So things could get very interesting, and I hope that the racing is as good as it was in that Cars Tour, and I hope that it's not a let's have to pit every 10, 15 laps and take away from this iconic moment.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this. I mean, this track obviously is way before my time. It's a track that, like, I'd hear my papa talk stories about and stuff. So it's kind of insane that, you know, we're getting this opportunity. So thank you to Dale and iRacing and everybody for really getting that ball moving. And then, you know, the movement that, you know, people made to bring North Wilkesboro back to life. So, awesome moment. But it's going to be awesome seeing those guys out there. I know it might, you know, it's a shorter track. Obviously, it's pretty small. It might. I'm hoping it's not gonna be like the Coliseum. These guys go crazy at it, but they might. But I'm so excited, and I'm glad to see guys are throwing back. You know, last week I thought there were some good Darlington schemes, but I thought compared to last year, some teams kind of took it like a little step back, kind of calmed down. Like Trackhouse had amazing ones last year, and I was kind of like, this year is clean and everything. But it's kind of like, are they saving something for North Wilkesboro? And it seems like some teams did. So hopefully we get to see some more schemes this week. I love throwback schemes. So but yeah, it's gonna be awesome to see. I mean, Kevin Harvick, see him in the 29 one more time. It's gonna be really cool. And just seeing how this goes. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it looks like it's kind of been leaked that they plan on coming back here next year. So I'm hoping it goes well, and hopefully they, like Ronnie said, they don't have tire problems. I'm excited for tire wear, but hopefully it's not to the point that they're blowing tires on lap 17 or something. But Hey, we'll see. Either way, it's going to be an absolute historic event for NASCAR, and I'm super excited for it.
When you say coming back for an all-star race or a possible
Yeah.
points race?
Yeah,
I hope it's
well,
points.
That's
it
what I'm hoping.
seemed like the
God,
leak
could you
kinda
imagine?
showed. The leak showed it seemed like it's going to be the All-Star race again, but it's just a leak. We don't know. I mean, that could change very
Texas is the
easily.
All-Star race. Get North Wilkesboro. Move the All-Star race back to Charlotte. Have North Wilkesboro like the week before the All-Star race. That way, it kind of like kicks off like Memorial Day weekend, like same slot, but
I think
Isn't Rockingham getting cleaned up?
I think
Aren't they
What if they did
fixed?
that?
That's what I was saying. What if they moved North Wilkesboro to a points-paying race and then brought the Rock in for
what
the
if
all-star
they
race?
what if they just like revive a track each and every year, just brought it back for the All-Star race?
Hey, we talked about that in the past. Like I said,
then-
the
and
All-Star
then-
race you could use as a testing race to see
Yeah.
if tracks could be added to the schedule, and then if it goes well, bam, we're going there next week or year for
Move it
points.
to like short track. Bring it to Winchester over here in Indiana. That'd be
Who?
a good event.
That
Who?
would
You
be
haven't been to Winchester Speedway.
Never heard of it.
Oh,
But
it's
anyways.
got the Winchester 400. All right, what a cat
Never-
knows where I'm talking
Never
about.
heard of it. But
Yeah,
anyways,
fine.
Yeah,
yeah, bring back these classic tracks. Drop off a couple of these stupid road courses throughout the year. Get rid of the Chicago road. Speaking of Chicago road course, did you just hear that they had to redo part of the track?
yeah.
What'd
This
they do?
is the dumbest crap I have ever heard, man.
Well, they do a stoplight fall and it like ruined the surface, or
No, they had. It doesn't. I don't remember exactly what the article said, but it doesn't meet like the code or whatever.
What the-
what do you mean?
Like it, part of the
Like
square, the center,
like you
the
can't do
town
a
square.
turn, or
I don't like
Oh.
I said. I'd have to find. Do you remember what it said, Peyton? You know what I'm talking about.
The only thing I've got to see, I haven't saw that exact article, but the only thing I've really seen from the Chicago Street Course is the fact that I know there's a new mayor in there now, besides
Right.
the last one who like, agreed to it, and it seems like the one that's in there now isn't a huge fan of it. So I've heard they've had problems. I haven't got to go deep and look into it, but if they had to redo some of the
I've heard
track,
that too.
man, that's getting rough.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure they had to like change a portion of the track, and because the cars exceed the stupid decibel limit, they got to put mufflers on the stupid things.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Like this is becoming
Seems
the
like somebody
laughing
didn't-
stock of NASCAR.
How about this? How about we just say scrap it and just move the race over to Chicagoland? Like that.
Yeah.
That might be a good idea.
Wouldn't that be something? They just randomly could come out a few weeks, like, okay, guys, we've had to make a 180. We're going to the freaking Chicagoland Speedway.
I would love that.
Or how about they just do the North Wilkesboro race again?
Oh my lord.
That too.
In the points thing, yeah.
Now I will say, like, we talked about in the past, if you live beside a speedway, don't get mad if it's loud. I will say, to defend the Chicago Street Course, I'm sure a lot of people didn't sign up, to hear a random ass race. But then again, y'all know it's a possibility. So I don't know. When they announced that thing, I was kind of like, man,
It's
they're
a
gonna
one-
have to jump through a bunch of hoops to make that work. And
It's
we're
a
seeing
one
it.
weekend thing. They can get over it.
No,
Like
you're not
literally,
wrong.
things happen.
And they've known
Hey.
about it for a while. But hey,
Hey, what did the people in Nashville think about that street course?
no, I've never heard anything bad about it. They loved it when they came out. They're going over the freaking bridge and everything. We were like, oh my god, that's so cool. I've never heard anybody complain about it, but I'm sure people do.
Or if
People
you want
complain
a
about
street
anything and everything.
course, go down to Miami where Formula One just ran.
Yeah.
Clearly they have no problems with racing down there.
I'll say this: you can't do a street course in Indianapolis because there's construction everywhere. So that you can't do it there.
And potholes.
And potholes. Yeah.
Well, that's no different than North Wilkesboro they're going to be experiencing this weekend. So
Yeah, you'll end up in a sand trap. It's all right. I mean, it's just it's the Joker lap like off of iRacing.
So how
So
many gunshots do you guys think we'll hear in the background of the booth broadcast tonight or this weekend or when they go to Chicago? God.
dude, okay. So the more I've read about this, Chicago's really not that violent of a city as what it's portrayed to be.
Chicago's the deadliest city in America.
Not like downtown, like
Yeah.
like the outskirts, like the suburbs area. Not downtown though.
Yeah. the area
Do you
of
think they're
racing
going to
is not
stay
bad,
away?
but- Yeah.
What do you expect? Like someone just to go guns blazing,
Well,
just like
no,
try
but
to
I'm
like
just
take out
saying,
people, or
Like Chicago's the #1 crime-ridden city in America.
Yeah,
And
but
you're
that's
going to
not like
go into the
downtown.
heart of it.
It's
And,
like downtown, though.
well, I get that, but I don't know. It still makes absolutely no sense to me.
Like, I
There's
walked
so
around
many other
downtown
places.
Chicago, and there wasn't anybody wailing guns around me. I mean, John Morant wasn't out there, like, trying to, like, get me or whatever. But,
That
so.
guy. Goodbye to John Morant's career.
Yeah, that's true.
But I still like. I don't love the idea of Chicago street course, but I still like the fact NASCAR is exploring. I think they're all, keeping it fresh is important. I don't think back in the day they used to recycle everything, and I don't know. Maybe it's just the new fan, the younger generation in me, whatever. But I kind of like having uniqueness each season. So, hey, I'd like them to try other tracks over Chicago street course. That's not what I would have picked, but hey, if this is them trying out a street course, fine. I guess whatever.
And that's another thing too. Like they're going like new school like this. They're going old school this weekend with North Wilkesboro. So I mean, like they're giving like both like sides like different like new stuff. So I mean, they're props to NASCAR like keeping it like somewhat valid for both the new generation and the old generation.
Absolutely.
But I just don't think Chicago's the place.
No, I don't either. But that's what we got, so we got to deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, you gotta at least give it a shot. I mean, we haven't ran there yet. Like no pun intended, but like you gotta give it a shot. So
we gotta watch AJ Allmendinger beat him about 30 seconds
That's
to really see how good a track it is.
I bet Allmendinger cannot wait for that. That's the year
No.
he's had. He's targeting some road courses coming up.
But my thing is, all right, if you want to appeal to the younger generation, why not go to Vegas?
F1's doing that.
Well, I know that. That's what I'm saying. Formula One is they already have the track mapped out. Why not go race on the strip?
NASCAR couldn't afford it. Probably. That's why they chose
can
Chicago.
afford it. They can 100%
like the event wise, I mean, they didn't want to like.
It'll pay for itself.
I understand, but like, they probably want to try it in a more like, still big market, but like not Vegas. So that's why they chose Chicago. Like you don't want to like just like get like let's say like you're like a new like news network and like the first like broadcast is the Super Bowl. Like you don't want to like just like go straight into like your biggest event. So that's why they're kind of like baby steps. So I would love to see them do the Vegas street course, but I think you gotta see what Chicago brings first before you go that big.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, no doubt about it. Because if it's anything like the track on iRacing, I haven't bought it, haven't ran a single second on it. But if it's anything like the course that it was on the when they were in COVID and they ran it, it's going to be pretty interesting. Just kind of follow the leader
end up with only one
thing.
car.
Yeah.
Everybody else is going to be crashed out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Don't buy it.
Yeah, I have it because I got to play around. I got to play around with it for like 5-10 minutes, and I was so lost. You would get to a corner, it's like there's not like an obvious like way you're supposed to turn. So I'd get to the corner and be like, "Oh crap, it's actually a right turn, not a left," and I'd just run straight into the dang wall. So I was so lost. So I hope these guys, learn the track before they get there. Man, it's gonna get bad.
And that was just the warm up lap. Peyton's out on lap one.
That was wrecked multiple times with that situation. It's rough.
Well, anyone else got anything to add to our week 4 of the podcast here of season 3?
What about the NEXXTCAR week?
Oh man, I was so caught up in the drama of the Chastain and Larson, I forgot about the NEXXTCAR drama. Vegas.
Why don't we have Tuck start it out? How his week was?
Yeah, Tuck, start us off on how your week in the Sin City of Las Vegas went.
I'll just say this. I had the most consistent week in NEXXTCAR history than anybody's ever had. So I'll just say that right off the bat. But my week, pretty good. So topped it off with a average start of 0 and the average finish of 0. So I was unable to race NEXXTCAR this week. So
would you like to explain why you were unable to race in NEXXTCAR this week?
Snowflake liberals decided to end my racing career for 1 week. That's why I'm not allowed to race because apparently no one likes to have fun anymore. So
Well, you should have waited a week. You and Camaro could have joined forces.
That's what I'm saying. BCR has had a lot of unseen circumstances that have happened. So, yeah, it's whatever. I mean, you can't change it. So, although I tried, but they said no. So
iRacing shut you down just like they did your
iRacing
login.
shut me down for a week. Yeah, my login. No, I can still log in.
Oh, can you?
I can do time trials and other stuff. I just can't do any multiplayer. So yeah, I will say this: I'm a killer on time trials. I finished first in those.
I bet you do.
So I got about 22 hours until my suspension is up. So I'll be there next week.
Oh God, Peyton, how'd your week go?
Vegas was interesting. I mean, the truck race was a demolition derby for about the first 40 laps, and then it became a fuel race. And yeah, I knew with the last yellow that you could pit then and make it with one more stop. However, nothing told us that we were ever going to have a green flag run that race. And of course, the second I think that's what happened. So truck was interesting, and then Cup ended up being kind of a strat race as well. We had guys, we had a yellow right at the midway point, but it's all about keeping your tires safe. And then at the end there, do you want to split it in half, or do you want to go a little bit long and have fresh tires for the end? All kinds of strategies, but end of the day, got a couple of decent finishes for ADR, so not mad about it. Didn't get wrecked and have a DNF this week, so that's improvement.
Good job. Proud of you, kid.
Congrats, Peyton.
I wasn't Ryan Leaf this.
Glad to see you show up on time for something.
Yeah,
Apparently not, because my phone was blowing up from the ADR chat saying, Peyton, where are you? So apparently
okay.
he wasn't on time for the race last night.
Last night I made it 20 minutes before. Truck, I got there like during qualifying, but hey.
Okay, maybe it was Sunday that they were blowing the chat up.
Yeah.
Well,
What
when
about
I get
Cat?
back, you'll be suspended.
Oh, okay.
Cat, what you got?
Oh, yeah, what 10 said. Truck race was demolition derby. Luckily, I was not involved in that junk. Started back in, me and Toby started last with Jimmy Emos. And I worked myself up to third. Unfortunately, he got caught in a wreck. And made that last pit stop. Well, that pit stop under caution. So I knew I was going to be close. And luckily, we were a lap and a half good. And then last night, had a great battle with Nick. Pretty much the whole race, us two was pretty much best two cars, and then he got me 2 laps ago. So it was a great, fun battle, and congrats to Nick. Well, both Nicks, because they both won. And I'll move on next week.
Absolutely. Actually, we're off next week.
We are off
Yeah.
next week? I thought we were.
Are we not? Oh, no.
We're on
One
two-
more
yeah,
week.
Well, one more week because
Yeah.
Memorial. You want me to do the driver of the week?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so this week, I mean, this guy only runs once every week, so he only be able to run one series. So, I mean, it's kind of biased, unbiased, but this guy is ran probably one of the most underrated guys this season, even though he's only ran this one series. So, he got a pole this weekend in the Cup Series, and he topped it off with probably his best place finish ever in NEXXTCAR. So we'll give the driver of the week to good old Dustin Slonacker. So I think that's some guy that needs some recognition. Not a name you really hear a lot in the NEXXTCAR. So good to see him have a good solid weekend at a Vegas in the Cup Series. So Dustin Slonacker, first place, or got a pole and a third. So top 5 run for him this week.
Nice. That's good for him.
Yep.
I don't mean that in an arrogant way. I'm saying that you know that's good improvement.
Slowly improving. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. That's good for him. That's great to hear.
and he led 14 laps. He had a great run going at Auto Club in the Cup Series until the last lap or the last couple laps ago.
His boss wrecked him.
Yeah. No, Ronnie's number 2 pick got me into
My number 2 pick. Oh, Steve.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah. That's kind of what happened. But yeah. So
Oh yeah, blame someone else, Chastain.
Yeah. Gotta show Dustin some love. So we'll give him the nod at driver of the week.
Absolutely.
While we're on the subject, you got to give an honorable mention to Nicholas Don Francisco for winning his first race in NEXXTCAR.
That's true.
Race this week, so he had a great drive and held off Dunford. Yeah, he held off Dunford for the win, so very impressive by him as well.
Guys, Don Francisco has come close many of times. I mean, the biggest one is Atlanta last season.
Yeah.
In the truck series. You know, they were 3 wide, and that was a pretty iconic finish for sure. But yeah, I mean, he's come close several times, and to finally get it done, that's good for Don Francisco. That's awesome.
The funny thing about him when, take it back to season 1, at Auto Club, I won, Dunford got second, and Nick got third. When Nick won this past weekend, Dunford got second, and I got third.
So the DVD show continued.
I thought you were talking about what happened when Don Francisco decided to warm his tires.
That was season 2. That was season.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, you're right.
So the DVD show continued, huh?
Yeah. Just totally different race though.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, y'all got anything else to add here to this podcast?
We gotta do our picks, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
pick.
good God, I'm out of it tonight.
Come on. So how do you want to do this? You want to pick an open? Who's gonna win the open? Who's gonna get the fan vote? And who's gonna win the All-Star race? Or you want to do still our normal?
I think you do normal.
Just normal.
I get
All
extra
right.
points if your sleeper is in the open. I feel like that's a bold.
Points? We're doing points for this?
I don't know.
We're a little late for that.
If you pick a sleeper in the open, he ends up running well.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying who you think could get out of the open, and then who would win the fan vote, and then who would win the All-Star race.
BJ McLeod's winning the fan vote.
BJ McLeod's not even. Yeah. Okay.
But you're ready.
Is he even entered in the 78? It's Balicki. It's not even a freaking BJ.
What the heck, man? There was like a movement on Twitter of people voting for him. I thought he'd actually was shot.
Hate to say that your vote does not count. So
hey,
hashtag not.
Never mind.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Never mind. We stop it.
Yeah.
Well, who's going first then?
Where are you even seeing the entry list?
Go to the app.
Yeah.
I just go to
And then there's 2 separate ones. The open's on the 5:30 one, and the North Wilkesboro 8 o'clock is the All-Star entry list.
I don't even see the second one.
Are you on the schedule? Hit schedule on the
I'm
app.
on the schedule.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. There's two North Wilkesboros.
Oh, I see. And then And then where do you? Oh,
the
entry list.
5:30 is the.
I
open.
got it. All right. Go ahead, Kat.
So how are we doing? It's in the open and then the other one, or what?
Is that what we're doing? Pick one in the open, then.
That's whatever.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, we can pick one from the open list and then one for the main
If
event.
you're in you're in the open, you're gonna be a sleeper either way. So.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta find the people in the open.
Don't take my dude.
Yeah, don't take mine.
Glad I ain't the only one struggling with this.
It's not that hard. It's right here.
Clearly it is. If 2 out of 4 of us are struggling.
I'm doing it on my phone, so if I go to anything else, it'll kick me out.
Oh,
So
okay.
for the open winner, I am gonna pick Ty Gibbs to win the open.
That's solid.
Wow. Okay.
That's a good
Pretty
pick.
solid.
I can't believe you even said his name.
Well, looking at the list, there's nobody that looks remotely decent.
All right. Peyton,
Fan vote.
Peyton, you're. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
my
forgot
bad.
to talk about a part.
I totally forgot. This has been a wacky week.
The fan vote is going to be AJ Allmendinger. And then the person who's going to win the All-Star race, which I hope does not happen. He has a pretty good history of doing the new tracks. He won first race at Bristol Dirt, Gateway, and the first class race at LA. My pick is Joey Logano.
Ooh, okay, I like that. Only because he's won at a new track. So
Like I said, I hope it don't happen.
yeah, I know. I know. I like those. Looks like Peyton has a new member of the family.
Yeah. Izzy wanted to say hi. So
Well, hi,
y'all,
Izzy.
y'all share.
How much
y'all's
how much was
stuff.
that dog? $850 too, or
No, this
Who
we
paid
won't talk about
$850 for a dog?
that's what Ten said. How much is like? How much they?
uh, it depends on color for labs, but this thing being a French bulldog, yeah, it's a little bit more. But yeah, a little bit more.
Where's my
Anyways,
$10 puppy?
anywho, who's going next?
You can go. I feel like we have the same
Man,
people.
I feel like I do really good at this, and Ronnie kind of sucks, so I feel like he should go second. But
All right, fine. Since Ronnie,
Okay.
Ronnie, have you found the list yet?
Yeah,
I gotta go.
All right,
I
you
gotta
go.
go back.
just the open list.
Okay.
No.
All right.
All right. So,
Okay.
all right. So, for my open list, I'm gonna go with Eric Almirola.
Okay.
My fan is a guy I can't believe we didn't talk about in the podcast tonight, making his return for 6 races this season. I think Newman could possibly get the fan vote in.
It's just
I
so late.
I
I
can see
don't
that
know.
too.
I don't know if he's gonna get enough traction with him joining so late. That's the problem I have with that one.
Oh, 100%. What do you mean he ain't gonna get enough traction?
But like
Yeah.
the
The
voting's been
fans
going on
love
for a
him after
while.
his Daytona survival.
For Newman to win it, like the fan vote's been open for a while. For him to win at this point, it's gonna have to be a mountain of votes just coming in this week and putting him in. That's the thing I worry about. Which it could happen.
There's still a chance.
I like it
still
though.
a chance.
If he'd have been on the whole time, then I think you'd have definitely yes.
There's still a chance. And then my main event winner, I'm going to go with a guy that loves short track racing. He loves Richmond. Kyle Busch.
Okay.
I like that. I can see that.
I like it. I like it.
Me or you?
I don't care. I'll let
I
decide
mean,
that.
I can go. Since,
All right, one of
since
y'all
you're the
go.
king of this.
Jesus.
I'll go. I'll go.
Like
All
fucking
right.
trust when you pick one, dude.
So for the Open, all right, this guy is driving for probably the best organization in NASCAR. He unfortunately was not granted the automatic bid to the race because he's a substitute driver. So I'm going to go for the winner for the Open is Josh Berry. I feel like this is going to suit his style. His short track wore off, and he's going to get that 48 car into the main All-Star race. For the fan vote winner, I mean, I guess one guy that's popular on this list that's had some instances this year with getting in fights, blah, yada, yada. He's a main known guy. I'll take Noah Gragson as the fan vote. I think he gets that. And then for the All-Star race winner, this guy has not won in over a year. He has been in the limelight of recent weeks. He's been talked about on the NEXXTCAR podcast. I will take Ross Chastain as the All-Star race winner. I think he gets it done, not by riding the wall, but just off of pure speed and
Wrecking field.
his
No,
and
no.
wrecking the
Wrecking the
field.
field.
dude.
It'll be beating and banging its way. It
So-
won't be off speed.
And this is to be the only win that he gets this year. So
Oh my god! What
and
kind
so
of bold
I will
prediction
take-
is this?
I will take Chastain as the All-Star race winner.
How dare you put the Ryan Blaney curse on Ross like that?
I mean,
I
they
can't
both haven't
believe-
won. That's going to be the real question. Who wins next, Chastain or Blaney?
Hey, it's been long
Blaney.
for Blaney. I don't
Chastain
know.
gets himself in good chances of winning, and then he just wrecks himself for,
I mean,
you know.
But Ross runs top 5 almost every week, and Ryan Blaney's ran like what?
It's
around
easy
12
to
every
do
week?
when you
So-
wreck the other faster cars.
Well, okay, so the only way Ryan Blaney's going to win if Ross can wreck the entire top 10 and Ryan Blaney
Yeah.
squeezes through. So
Hey,
we'll see.
either
we'll see.
way.
But
Chastain will Chastain, and Ryan could prevail.
I like the pick, Tuck. With it being a short track, Ross, I was probably going to take him. Just beating and banging, it fits his style. Nothing to lose this week.
Yeah.
But
The only time I'll take Chastain.
I
All-star event. Doesn't
thought
count
you
for
were
anything.
going to take my open driver and not, my, the driver already in. So it's kind of shocking you did the reverse. But the guy I'm going to take from the open, I thought it was a pretty easy one. I mean, it's a short track. This dude has been kind of the king here at short tracks. He's always been really good at them. and was really good at the Coliseum. I'm gonna take Ryan Priest. I feel like that's a really easy one from the Open. I think he's got a really good shot. So I'm pretty confident in that one. As for the Open, man, it's so hard because I mean they never in here, so it's really kind of throwing one in the dark. You know what? I'm gonna go with the sentimental value or whatever. Uh, Kevin Harvick has a crazy story and gets the 29 victory lane, and we all celebrate off of how crazy that'd be. So I'm gonna go Kevin Harvick. I don't know why I'm picking Kevin Harvick. I'm just kind of feeling it. Well, I'm gonna go Kevin Harvick. You're welcome,
That'd be a
Kat.
good story. Him in the 29
Well,
car.
I'll
last
say
win.
thank you if he wins.
Yeah.
and then screw you if he doesn't.
Yeah, he gets
Yeah,
wrecked
blame
out like
Peyton.
lap
Yeah.
3. The car's absolutely destroyed. I'll
Yeah.
get a message in the Facebook chat or Discord. I'll be excited.
Hey,
Thanks,
Kat.
Raw.
Kat, speaking of the 29 car, do you know when they're going to release that car? Because it's still on pre-order on Lionel, and I pre-ordered them, but
Probably early next year, probably.
what?
I'm still
More-
waiting on
more
my
than-
Benedetto win.
No one cares about 90s. It's probably discontinued.
No, it's not. It's still in ship. It's still in.
Why
It's
you gotta
still in
do it like
mode.
that?
But yeah, a lot of the pre-orders ones they'll wait till maybe at the end of the year or beginning of next year.
Okay. Well, that sucks.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
It'll
You'll
be
forget
out eventually.
Yeah.
I did see that they're selling.
and then you pop up. You're like, oh yeah, I ordered
I,
that.
I did say they are selling those cars at the Hardwick trailer this weekend.
See, I looked when they were in Dover, and I
Yeah,
didn't see them. They
I
didn't
don't
have
know.
anything like that. They had no shirts of that. They had it was like that car scheme didn't
I
exist.
saw it on Twitter. I don't know where it was at though. but
Yeah.
I saw they're selling shirts, die-cast, hoodies, hats, like everything.
Hmm.
So.
Hmm.
Yep.
It'll probably start being at the other tracks after this week.
Yeah.
They probably don't want to make it before it.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
No.
All right, well, picks are done. Anyone else got anything to add to this podcast?
I do. So
Oh,
it's
boy.
becoming like a weekly thing here. My prediction for who Ross Chastain gets this week, I'm gonna go with Bubba Wallace. I feel like Ross at some point is gonna try to go by him, lap him, whatever. It's just gonna go bad, and we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna pick Bubba for being.
Did
the
you
next
pick
Ross Chastain
Larson in
victim.
that thing last? I gotta go back and watch. Did you
I don't
pick
know.
Larson?
I don't know. I think I might have. I don't know.
I think you
know.
did. I think you might have. That's more I think
I
about it.
don't remember.
Oh God.
All right, we can start this segment. Who do you got, Matt?
I swear. If we
I
actually
don't
do
know.
this, we get somebody this week, man.
And you can't pull the Mike Joy and be like, "Well, I'm gonna take the whole Chevy camp."
Yeah. He hasn't
Dude,
got a
I don't
Ford
know.
yet.
He gets into freaking Chris Buescher. I don't know.
Chris Buescher, interesting.
I feel
So
like
then
this
Butcher
is
doesn't
easier
there?
to pick than a winner.
Yeah.
I think Logano.
Hey, that was almost the one I took. Logano's one I thought he'd have more issues with at this point.
Mhm.
Both kind of drive very similar in a way.
What are the odds with that? Like minus like 250 or? Like,
Yeah, that's probably one of the more favorite ones.
That should be like on the sportsbook apps. Who does Chastain wreck? Like that should be like the odds list.
I think the only thing that kind of gets me a Ross is that I wouldn't be surprised if this is the week someone fully dumps him for the fact that I know it's not a points race, but because somebody could do it and it doesn't matter what happens to them. So if somebody just absolutely wants to just take their revenge on Ross and just have no repercussions, they could do it this week.
Revenge is better served on a cold plate
Hey, we'll see.
when it matters most.
Yeah, what you got?
Well, it'll be funny if it happens and to see the chat's reaction between a couple people. I'm gonna go with Ryan Blaney.
Oh my God. Richmond 2.0.
If that
gets you one
happens-
soon.
Matt Peyton will be on the free agent block.
Hey, I need new people since one got kicked.
How am
So,
I gonna get?
We
I
gave you
need all the
Jimmy.
help I can get.
Yeah, but you got
Huh?
Jimmy. You got Jimmy in place of Camaro.
There you go. Yeah. There you
Because
go.
we didn't
You
even know
get another-
Jimmy was
yeah.
racing this season, so no one drafted the poor guy.
Yeah. Well, okay. Welcome to the team, Jimmy.
There you go. Congrats.
But All right, for the third time, anyone else got anything to add to this
I think we're
podcast?
good. I think we haven't forgot anything this time, right? I think we're good.
All right, well, that's gonna do it here for season 3, episode 4 of the NEXXTCAR podcast. We're gonna end this one off with thoughts and prayers out to what is happening in Nigeria right now. A little bit ago, about 2.5 hours ago, the U.S. Embassy over there was taken over by the local militia, and I just got word that a 5th U.S. ambassador was killed over there. So not looking good, but thoughts and prayers go out to them and their family, and hope everyone over there, all the U.S. nationals and everything, can get out of that country safe, and hopefully things start to calm down in the world here pretty soon. But that's going to do it here for the NEXXTCAR podcast here of Season 3, Episode 4. Enjoy the rest of your night.